Good morning, peeps on the YouTube. Budget Guitarist here. My name's Martin. Now, I thought a trusty old Strat. Absolutely love this. Well, it's not old. It's pretty new, but it could definitely new with some new strings. They actually get in sound. They're sounding really dull, really really dead sounding, to be honest. So I'm going to restring it. Stick around for the process, the tips, all the rest of it, because I'll be doing a full setup, which is what you should really be doing when you change your strings anyway. So that's going to be string change, check relief in the neck, tune it up, intonate it, take care of the action, all that sort of stuff. Stick around, peeps. First thing I like to do when I take the strings off is just give it a good visual sort of check over for any obvious signs of damage. Now, what I've noticed straight away is on this saddle here for the thick E string, you see the others have all got springs on them where you can do the intonation. This one, however, has a little bit of a spring there, but it looks like it's actually snapped, which is needs replacing, which, not to worry, I do have a spare. But apart from that, everything seems to be hunky-dory. Tuners are still nice and nice and tight. Nothing's come loose. It does need a bit of a clean though, which yeah, I think I'll get cracking and give it a clean first. Right, next thing I want to do is actually I'll just give it a quick of a dust and a little bit of polishing. You can see straight away it just looks so much better, so much better. I've never actually had the scratch plate off on this guitar. Now, it's a made in Mexico 60s Vintera, but I've got no idea what kind of pickups are in it, what sort of pots, what what does the 5-way switch look like? Does it look like a vintage one, or a more modern looking one? So I think I'm going to remove the scratch plate completely. And another thing I'm considering, and I've put this off for such a long time because I absolutely love this guitar and I didn't want to run the risk of damage or anything, is it's just not the fret ends are just not finished as good as I would like them to be. I can still sort of feel them along the edge there. I do have a file. I'm actually thinking about addressing those fret ends as well while I'm at it. Yeah, but I'll have to decide. But either way, that's going to have to come off because these are magnets, and if I start filing metal bits, then these are going to get covered in metal filings, and I don't want that to happen. So this is kind of interesting. I mean, we've definitely got some vintage style pickups. It's great to see that we've actually got we've got the shield in there. We've got a vintage style selector switch and some big old fat potentiometers with the orange drop cap. So that's good to see. I would have liked to have seen the old style cotton wrapped wiring, but it's fine. What's bizarre though, I've never seen this when I've opened up a Strat, is this hole here with some stuff in it. Looks like some bits of paper. It's got writing on it or something. I don't know what that is. Some sort of sticker maybe. I can't make out what that says, but let's see if I can get it out. I've got no idea what that could possibly be for, or whether it's I don't know. Let's have a see if I can make out what that says. It looks like somebody's initials. That's what it looks like. I don't know. Well, that's bizarre, I guess. Now I've got more stuff here. I've got a barcode here. Oh, it's a nice bit of wood though, that. Look at that. That is a nice piece of wood. Can't really see if it's a 1-piece or 2-piece or a 3-piece, I'm not sure. Anyway, on with tidying her up. Change my mind a little bit. So scratch plate back on. I think it's going to be easier to sort these fret ends if I actually just remove the neck rather than having to worry about doing any soldering, because there's an earth wire attached to the back of the pickups, which is attached to, you can see there where it's sort of like soldered on here. I'm just trying to keep work down to a minimum, so I think it's just going to be easy to remove the neck and do the fret ends that way. What was great, it was great to see the little, you know, the vintage style electronics in there, you know, because they could have, unless you take that off, you're never going to see that bits. But I guess it's a little bit of attention to detail, isn't it? No, really nice to see the stuff under there. Guitar neck's easy enough to remove. It's just four screws in the back, and back plate comes off, and then the neck's going to come off. It's just never straightforward when I think about doing stuff. So what I've noticed is, it's quite hard to see, but you see the light's catching it, you can see those little burrs there in the frets. I don't know what could have possibly caused them, but I can definitely feel that as I run my fingernail across it. So on that one, not on that one, not on that one, not on that one. I mean, I've been playing this guitar quite a lot, and some of these frets don't think they need actually replacing yet, but to be honest, no. It was playing fine before. I am not doing a refret. I'm just going to tidy up the edges. I think that's, yeah, I'm doing the edges. The tool I'm using for this is this straight metal file. Because you want something that's pretty long and able to file stuff at the same time. Now, I'll show you what I mean. This is going to make it. This is going to, so it makes sense now. So if you can you hear that sound? So that's flush against the side of the guitar, and it's catching on the frets. It's those little ends that I can feel as I'm playing, and they pretty much, yeah. They run the length of the guitar neck. It's almost like the ever so slightly sticking out a little bit. So I'm going to file them as carefully as I can. I try my very best not to damage this lacquered finish, but to be honest, I think it's inevitable. I think I may end up just doing that, but I'm pretty sure a little bit of 2000 grit sandpaper, some water, just to buff it back, because these lacquers that you put on these, they're actually quite thick. There's quite a few layers anyway. Right, yeah, let's do some very careful filing. All right, that's them filed back a little bit. So I've not removed a great deal of material, but what I can't feel now is the fret. So when I run my finger along the rosewood top bit, I cannot feel those frets. Now what I need to do now is, I've got my fret finishing tool, and just gently roll each of the end, and that'll get rid of yeah, that little snaggy bit that I've created by filing it back ever so slightly. So this is my fret file. Great thing about these is, you see it's there, let me get focus. So this edge here is smooth, the actual file is inside the groove. So what happens is, when you're filing back the frets, you can see it just slides across the wood. It doesn't actually damage the wood. You can just concentrate on the fret without worrying about scuffing the wood. Right, I'm gonna go and do that now to all of them. This normally takes quite a long time. Right, that's that done. So basically what's happening by doing that is, it's just rounding off the sort of the fret end. So when I run my finger now over the edge, so actually just there where I've worked, it's smooth now. None of them are jaggy, none of them are sharp. Yeah, it does actually feel, that just feels so much better now, so much better. Right, on with cleaning, I guess. Right, so I've got your net back on, and I've also just changed that spring there for another one. Now it's restring, check the action, and tune up an internet. Right, stringing your Stratocaster then. So I've actually decided to go up a string gauge. I'm trying out some 11 gauge guitar strings now. It's pretty straightforward. I just find it a lot easier with the back plate removed. a lot of Strat owners will just remove the back plate and store it somewhere, because it does make changing strings a lot quicker. Obviously you're coming through the back, so just make sure that you're putting it through the correct hole, which in this case is going to be, because I've done this before, so it's that one. So when I flip it over, it means it's the top one there. I've done this before, I've just pushed them all through, flipped it over, and they've all been back to front, and yeah, it was just a little boo-boo. Right, so string through it all. Let's try and do this let's try and get this, there we go, push string through. I want to make sure that the strings come through, yeah, through the hole and to the centre bit of the saddle. Make sure it's pulled all the way through. Not stuck anywhere. Nope, it's where it's supposed to be. There we go. Now, along the top to your tuner. Now, I like to just have, I get them all sort of ready, you know, straight lines like this. Let's see it. Oh, what am I doing? I've actually got the peg winder. It's amazing when you need this thing, you can never find it. It's like a guitar pick. Yeah, these also, they must go to the same alternate universe as your guitar picks do when you drop them on the floor. But yeah, anyway, that's that. Get them all roughly in line. This bit's not necessary. This is just me. I find it just speeds it up a little bit. Gonna need your some snips as well. So it goes each slot, and what you want to do is, you see the length there. That's where I want to. Here is where I want to snip the string. So you're coming up. There's a tuner I want, and I'm coming up 2. I'm going to snip it there. It's going to make sure I've not got too much, but I've also got the right amount. Right, next bit you want to do is put your string in the hole, push it down as far as it will go with these sort of vintage styles tuners, and then through the slot and like that. And all we want to do is just keep a little bit of tension on it, hold it in the nut where it's supposed to go, and then wind on your string. Remember, we're always tuning up. Right, see what I mean about cutting your string length ready? We've got 2 wraps there. It's nice and neat, and yeah, just use the peg winder when we're going this way, because we always want to be tuning up. And repeat that process for all the strings. Make sure when you get to these 2 that they go underneath the string tree, and they're sitting in the top nut, and you push it through the right hole at the bottom from the get-go. Yeah, do the rest, all 5. I'll be back in a bit when I've done the others. Right, new strings are on. You can see, you know, it looks, you know, you do get a really neat finish when you snip off, you know, the excess and stuff. What I like to do now, so I'll just wind them on a little bit, and then each string I'll just sort of give it a pull. This will help to sort of start stretching them in and bedding them in. Just give them a little pull, and then it's on with some tuning. Now, so I'm going to tune this in half step down, because I do play a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan, and he's sort of like half a tone down. So that's how I'm tuning the guitar. But in terms of intonating, obviously I'm intonating it for half step down, but the process is exactly the same if you're in standard tuning. Right, luckily I didn't have to actually do anything with the action. The saddles stayed as they were. But with the action, what you can see is the saddle position are following the contour of the neck. Now, it's up to you how high or low you want your action. You just got to make sure that when you set your action, you don't have any fret buzz on any of your strings, and also you can bend your strings without the notes going dead. I have got a video that explains setting the action in a bit more detail. I believe it's on an Ibanez, and I will link that in the comments bit for you guys. But now I'm going to move on to intonation. So intonation is we've got, so the distance from the top nut to the 12th fret needs to be the same as the distance from the 12th fret to the saddle. So we play our first string, or which string we want to intonate, There we go, it's D. Hang on, let me. There we go, D, come on, D sharp. It is, because I'm come down half a step. Now, when I play it at the 12th fret, what I want is the same note. Can you see there where it's slightly higher pitched? So that's telling me that I need to adjust this saddle and get it to ring on a D. It needs to be on a D, yeah, it needs to be properly D sharp, sorry. So for every string, what you've got to do is tune your string first, the first string. There we go, it's that one. Now we want the same note at the 12th fret. So to get this, you need to adjust this one here. If you move the saddle backwards, it's going to pitch it up. If you loosen it so the saddle moves forward, it's going to bring the pitch down. And what you're trying to achieve is the same note at the 12th fret as the top bit. And let me see if I can press this and hold this at the same time so you can see what I mean. I can't hold it proper. Yeah, it's hard to do. You know what I mean, you get what I mean.